Hey everyone, Earl here with another episode of the Cryptopolitan podcast, and our guest today is Phil. Phil, how you doing?
Hey, Earl, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I love the background. The guitars are cool.
Yeah, haven't had a chance to play them lately. I don't know if you can see I have a drum set. Maybe you can't,
Oh,
but
I
I
see
have
the
a
drum
drum set
set
there
too.
too. So
That's pretty
I've
cool.
been on the drums nowadays, more
Nice.
than guitars, but
It's a good stress relief for sure. Absolutely. So,
it is. You can think, right? While I'm not, I'm trying to think about permanent storage and all the stuff we're building.
oh, there you go. Well, why don't we jump into that permanent storage wise? So, permanent data solutions. Kind of give us the rundown, like the 30,000 foot overview. What is it for like a layman?
Yeah, permanent data solutions. Well, that's our company name, right? And we are building things that harness permanent data. So, what is permanent data specifically? That's information stored on Arweave, which is a decentralized storage network.
Hmm.
Think of it like a blockchain that was built specifically to store information, to store
Okay.
files. You could technically store something on Bitcoin, but it's super duper expensive to store like
Mhm.
a
Yeah, no
megabyte
kidding.
on like Bitcoin. So you figure this blockchain was purpose built for storing data and has specific incentives to replicate that and keep it immutable and time stamped and have this clear record of provenance to whomever uploaded it. So I
Okay.
discovered this in 2018. My background's in enterprise IT. I was an enterprise architect for a big four auditing firm and doing
Nice.
all kinds of systems in the cloud on-prem. And I kind of discovered this technology, this permanent storage, and I was just like, whoa, this is really different. And it kind of sat for a few years, and then 2020, that's when I dove in and
Decided to jump
created
in.
permanent
Okay,
data
cool.
solutions.
Well,
Yeah,
like let's go even simpler. Like
yeah.
for permanent data, storage, what kind of files? Like if it, let's pretend I'm a music artist. Do I put the entire so because we've in other projects I've run, we run NFT launches, and the NFT was, for example, a proof of ownership of a piece of work, like an
Yeah,
MP3 file, like a here's a piece of music, and
yeah.
anybody who had the NFT could prove that they owned it, and then when it got released or when it made money, there was distribution, blah 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 blah. So, but the thing is, when we did that on the NFT itself, the only thing that was on there was either just a URL redirect pointing to something else, and that's what was stored on chain, just the URL. So,
Yeah.
am I putting the whole song on there? Am I putting just a redirect URL? What goes on as a permanent data solution?
Yeah. So, really, really good question. So
Yeah.
you can upload really any piece of data, uh,
Okay.
and that could be something like a 1 byte file to a
Yeah.
picture to a big movie. I was just uploading an 18 gigabyte LLM, uh,
Cool. Well,
the other
okay.
day. So insofar as an NFT, yeah, you could have your 10,000, 8-bit Toad pictures and,
Right.
have your token, your digital asset be on Ethereum or Solana. And,
Mhm.
that linkage could point to data that's stored, um, on the RIO and Arweave network. Uh,
Right, that makes sense. And then because
yeah,
you said like the gas prices, the prices to access this stuff is a lot cheaper than like on Bitcoin because Bitcoin just
yeah,
went to the moon. So
yeah.
yeah,
And as
yeah,
an
with that
NFT
sort of thing,
artist,
it's
you don't want to worry about keeping to pay for that, keep paying for that storage, right? With
right.
this platform, it's just kind of a one-time payment and then it's there forever,
Got
indefinitely.
it, got it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So fantastic. So maybe give the reader or give the viewership like a bit of a taste of what types of files have been popular on the platform as of late.
Yeah.
Because you,
So
you just said it like an 18 gig LLM. I'm like, okay, well that's not the first place I would have gone, but okay, cool.
well, it's
Yeah,
just
what
like
else?
fresh in my mind. And it
Yeah,
was kind of a big
awesome.
milestone for us. But for example, yeah, I mean, got guitars, stuff in the background. You said music. There's definitely a lot of that kind of information. Maybe call it personal information, whether public or private. So by default, everything is public.
Mhm.
But apps like R Drive, which is like a Web3 like Dropbox,
I
where
was gonna
everything's
say, so it's
stored.
kind of like a Dropbox, sort of.
Yeah, well, that's our one of our main products, our Drive, and it is a Dropbox. It's a mobile app, it's a web app. The app itself is stored permanently, so it's accessible and can't ever be changed or taken down.
Hmm.
Uh, but you figure it's great, a place for files, photos, your family photos, stuff like that.
That's
Um,
cool.
we also see a lot of NFT information, obviously
Right.
AI, gaming information as well, like Web3 games, some decentralized finance data like that could be used for oracles and other smart contract purposes. So
Fascinating.
really a whole range of stuff that we're seeing
So,
because
so
really it's just growing.
actual data storage, so people can like
Yes.
actually put things on here, and then like you
Yeah.
said, it's immutable. Da 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 da. You can't change things.
Yeah. And even if it's just your link tree, a simple little page for yourself or your brand or your blog. I mean, there's tons of that as well.
Cool. Now, what are the pros and cons of being on like a permanent data solution? So, like, let's say I update the spreadsheet and then I have to upload it again. Do I have multiple versions of the thing on the system, and how do we manage that?
Yeah. So pro to that point is infinite versions, right?
Yeah.
Con would be maybe the cost, right?
Hmm.
You are paying for something for 200 plus years of
Right.
storage, right? So it's like buying a car versus leasing, right? I guess nowadays leasing a car is still, you still kind of pay a lot up front, but yeah, you're paying a bunch, and that's because the Arweave network, the network that's storing this information, when you upload a file, like a bunch of it goes into what's called like a protocol endowment, and that's
Yeah.
used to pay for that storage for a really long period of time. So the
Hmm.
con is, all right, you're paying a lot now. It's I don't know, 23 or $24 a gigabyte right now.
Okay.
Um, but the pro is it's very, very long-term storage.
Hmm.
It can't ever be changed. It's immutable. It has that record of provenance, right? It's spread around the world. It's accessible through all of these different gateways or access points. So it's pretty hard for that piece of information to ever go away. So
So
that's
people
obviously a
using
big
like a
pro.
legal solution where they want these documents stored for all of time, essentially, that's a really cool usage for it.
Yeah, legal solution. I mean, we had a small accounting firm trying it out of storing, public tax information,
Hmm.
as well as private tax documents for their customers, and using, in this case, it was using our drive as a way to, yeah, store that for their users for forever, right?
That's really cool.
So
Okay.
lots of use cases.
So we talked about a bunch of different kinds of document types and all the according to storage and da 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 da. What's most exciting to you currently about like maybe well, let's talk about our drive for a second, and let's talk about like the whole PDS for a second.
Yeah.
What's the most exciting things that are coming down the pipe or are like here already, but people should just know about?
Yeah. So, when I started PDS, we started with our drive, and that was really as a response to my career being like super technical. And I just
Hmm.
want to do something that I can like explain to people. So
Yeah,
our
that
drive,
makes sense.
Dropbox app where everything's permanent, like it's super easy to explain. But the thing
Well,
that's really
that's
been,
cool because on the con side of Dropbox, I've had like old people like wipe out the entire drive, going, "Yeah, I'm going to wipe this," but it wipes it out for everybody. It's like, "Oh crap!" And
yeah,
so, yeah,
it's
so I
just
could
one
see
example.
the definite solution there because seniors with pictures and stuff, and like the kids are like, "Whoa,
Yeah,
where'd the pictures go, Dad?" And
yeah.
just,
And don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of ways to go for it to be as user friendly enough for like grandma. But the
yeah,
thing
yeah.
that's really exciting me the most, right? Our drive is an application, but it's really an application in what we've been calling the permanent cloud, right? So that is you figure this kind of new cloud that's existing that leverages this permanent storage, but also
Hmm.
has all these other kinds of services and things to support apps like our drive, right? So I mentioned the our drive app itself. It's a web app, rdrive.ar.io. That's
Yeah.
going to one of those access points in the permanent cloud because it's hosted there. Our drive, the app, is hosted in this cloud. You get that one low cost for hosting it, then it's there immutably forever. So us as a team, we could
Hmm.
go away, we could disappear. The R Drive app is still there. All of your data
Right.
is still there. It can't go away.
Makes
So,
absolute sense.
it's like app hosting. There's an index. There's caching of all this information. So it's really fast to download those pictures, videos, whatever.
Hmm.
There's a whole domain name system, right? Because by default, uh, when you use really any kind of blockchain, right, you make a transaction, you get like a transaction ID, right? Or your
Yes.
wallet has, an ugly hash, an ugly public key. So, this this permanent cloud network called RIO that we're building and trying to launch early next year also includes a domain name system for your identity and for your apps or pages or whatever.
Cool. I
Um,
like that. I mean, because just for those back to layman terms, right? Like an IP address versus like a domain name, much easier to remember the
you
domain
got
name.
it.
So
You
yeah,
got it.
absolutely.
You
So
got
very
it.
cool.
So that's
So
been exciting me the most. And yeah, I just mentioned we got our mainnet launch coming up, so working extra hard to make that a reality. Yeah.
oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I'd love to see how you guys progress and maybe have some like content around, what should be considered as permanent versus what's a fit versus what's not a fit. That'd be really cool, I think.
It's definitely really cool, and I think it's really cool too. We just released a vision article. Definitely invite you to check that out because it talks about some of that stuff, not just
Yeah,
like all the
absolutely.
benefits, but like how does it really uh, connect with the existing internet, right?
Hmm.
The existing web
Well,
and
so
or other
here's
blockchain
a
systems.
solution. I wish you guys were around back when my house got broken into. So many, many moons ago, my house got broken into. And they stole my computer. But the buggers also stole the hard drive attached to the computer that was backing up the computer. And so we had our precious pictures of Hawaii on there that we're never getting back. Because I don't know if you've ever been to Hawaii, but there's this place called Mount Halekala, which is essentially a volcano. And we got to
Right.
watch the sunrise above the clouds. And this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And the pictures are gone. I'm like, damn it, you stole the backup drive? Come on, just leave me with
Uh,
it. So if I had this solution back in the day, I'd
yeah,
still
I
have
mean,
my cool
cloud storage
volcano thing.
helps. I
So yeah,
think
yeah, exactly,
permanent
absolutely.
cloud storage is even better.
That would have been a really cool solution to save me. I have this funny picture that it's in my head, but the picture is gone, right? Because they told us that it would be cold
Yeah,
on, on the volcano. I'm like, dude, we're in Hawaii. How cold could it be? And then we get up there, there's snow, and I'm like, oh dear God, I made a mistake. And so I'm
yeah,
hiding in the bathroom, just warming my hands by the air dryer because I'm like dying because it's so cold. And so I have this hilarious picture of just my hands by the air dryer, and only I would understand what was going on. But again, I wish we had the backup solution that you have now. So like there's real
yeah.
life solutions to this thing. And what I've been noticing is just that the utility of everyone using the blockchain these days has matured a lot from the days of CryptoKitties and everything just being a straight up meme coin, right? So this is really cool, actual real world usage. So I appreciate what you do.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's again why I got into this. I wanted something that was easy to understand, easy to use. I mean, you don't even need crypto to use an app like our drive.
Right.
You just pay with a credit card, right? So it's super accessible. And data loss, that's is really what has
Mm.
been driving me, right?
Well,
Preventing the erasure of data,
uh,
preserving truth for like really long periods of time. That's the
absolutely.
exciting part for me. And I've had stuff get deleted and my OneDrive, I've lost a bunch of stuff. A hard drive died. I had to pay
Yeah.
way too much money to have somebody
To get
professionally
restored. Yeah, yeah. Data
recover.
restoration is kind of a pain in the butt.
It happens. Yeah.
Yeah, well, to segue into kind of the second question and the background behind you, a really cool project I saw that was kind of just getting off the ground. It doesn't even have a name yet. That what they were doing was they were getting artists to build a piece and then getting other artists to then modify the piece and add stuff to it. So, for example, if you had like a drum track and you wanted to add a guitar track to it, and then because it would maintain the integrity of the people who built it along the way with all the different versions and stuff, that was
Right. Right.
fascinating. I'm curious, and obviously the question's is a nice easy gimme. What do you do when you're not building permanent data solutions? And I'm sure the guitars and the drums in the background allude to some other kind of fun. But yeah,
Yeah, what do I do? I mean, it's tough nowadays because my mind is continually on that,
mm,
whether it's like building a fun new app or a
yeah,
game that I can host
yes,
or a new Chrome extension, or especially with ChatGPT, like
yes,
I can go on and on about like programming fun things, right? I've been a computer
absolutely,
person, my whole life. And building computers was I think when I don't know, I was 10 or 11, built my first computer. It was just like the fun thing, the hobby thing. And yeah,
yeah,
as you could tell with my background, right? Like it's probably another path, a different universe somewhere where I'm like maybe a musician.
hmm,
But I didn't go that way. It was always as a hobby. I've been in bands here and there, but all really just hobby way. Say before I let off steam, playing drums or thinking about problems now as being a founder and CEO. It's drums a great way to do that. And I feel like there is a relationship between programming and writing music, making
Absolutely,
art. I
absolutely,
feel like
for
it
sure.
triggers certain parts of of the brain there. But yeah, I mean, maybe back in the day, definitely a lot bigger into like going to concerts and
Hmm.
I've seen the Disco Biscuits has banned 50 plus times and
Nice.
traveled
Well,
around the
it's
world
still
music
cool
festivals.
having the
Yeah.
musical background, I think, because what is it they say? People who are musicians have that have that extra bit of soul to them because you've got that extra piece to you, right? That the musician piece.
Yes,
And the funny
maybe.
thing is, all music is math too, right? If you look at all the structures behind it, and sometimes taking that break, playing the instrument, you know, getting that extra different part of your brain activated might help. It might end up, giving you the solution to this to whatever you're trying to work your way through,
Maybe.
right?
Maybe. Yeah. I like to think
So.
so.
Well, they did some tests actually, and so even
Oh,
Einstein was doing this sort of thing. So whenever he ran into a problem he couldn't solve, he'd go for a walk, and they were actually doing the tests and how much blood flows to the brain and what parts of the brain activate during a walk. And the funny thing is, different parts of the brain activate during music, even if you're just playing music or listening to music
right,
or
right.
whatever. So there's different parts, but the specifically playing it activates different parts. And so, you never know that might be the cause of any, some of the solutions that you're running into, right?
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the protocols maybe that are popping in my brain are while I'm playing music, or
Yeah.
even just listening to it. I listen to a lot of music, obviously, too, but
Listening to it also activates different parts. So there you go. So I mean that's a cool thing because I see people all walks of life doing different things to activate different parts of their brain to figure out the solutions to the utility or problem they're trying to figure out and solve. And it's just fascinating that the musician types are always the ones who kind of have these a different kind of a pattern. So it's a neat observation.
yeah.
Very cool. Well, um, this is pretty much the last question here for you, and it's give the viewership a reason to connect with you. Whether it's like, hey, you got to try this, you got to try this app, or hey, this is what we're working on, or hey, maybe they have a permanent data thing in their head, an idea that they can utilize, your architecture for. So give people a reason to connect with you, and then
Yeah.
last but not least tell them where you'd like to connect. Is there a particular platform where you want them to reach out that you're most active on, et cetera, et cetera? So let's start with
Sure.
the
Yeah.
reason, and then we'll end with the where you want them to go.
Yeah, I mean, I would love if anyone in the audience wanted to reach out. If anything you've just heard around permanent storage, RIO, R drive, R weave, anything sounds interesting, definitely reach out. We just released our vision for this whole permanent cloud network that we call RIO. So there's some really good stuff there. Again, if any of this sounds nice, I encourage you to read this vision article. You
Hmm.
can go to our website. I think we have a link somewhere, maybe at the top for that. And we do have
Sure.
mentioned already. I think our main net launch is coming uh, Q1 of next year. So the excitement on our end in our ecosystem is really high. So it's a good time if you are just hearing about it to start going down the rabbit hole. And yeah, beyond just learning more, right? Reach out if you are interested in using it, whether you're just trying to store your own personal stuff. You're a musician like me, you want to keep your old high school band's Battle of the Bands music video
Nice.
they are like me, for example. Um, or you're a developer and you have a project, an idea you're trying to build, or you're already working on something existing and you're looking for an integration with a decentralized storage platform, or you have an NFT drop, or you just want to maybe upload a Linktree page or a little blog, right? Like any
Nice.
of these things, would love to connect with you or your viewers, whatever audience, on you could, tweet at me or hit me up on X, right? At Vilenarios, VILENARIOS, or follow me there, or follow us at AR_IO_network. You can go into our Discord. I think we probably have a link to that on our website on ar.io as well.
Awesome.
Um, but yeah, I hope this was fun and
Yeah.
interesting. And
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
please let
absolutely.
me
Yeah,
know.
yeah. It's an interesting project for sure. Interesting utility for sure.
Yeah,
And yeah, 200 years of storage sounds great for that price.
yeah, we think so too.
All right. Well, hey, Phil, it was awesome talking to you. Yeah, really cool getting to know you and your project. And yeah, we wish you well. Thank you so much for being on the show.
All right, thanks, Earl. Appreciate it.